What's going on, guys? If you could, please let me know if you can hear me in the chat. What's up, Barry? I'm going to give it a minute or two here and let a few more people join. What's up, Rich? What's up, Tom? I'm going to get to that question here pretty quickly. The resident Ford heathen with a passion for classic Mopars. Oh no, another Ford guy. How do I block people on here? I can't remember how. All right. So I'll be honest, I've got a buddy. He's a crazy Mustang guy, and I give him shit all the time for loving Mustangs. And there's a few exceptions for me, honestly. Any sort of fastback, like 65, 68, right? Anything in between. And then I am a fan of like the 69, 70 Mach 1s. And he actually just picked up a 70 that's pretty badass. I had to say it was pretty cool when I went and saw it. So, and it's got some cool history behind it. Maybe I'll do a video on that if you guys are interested in that. One way that I am looking to expand the channel a bit is going to check out people's collections or finds or anything like that. And yeah, I'm sure he'd love to tell the story behind it and show you guys the car. All right. Okay, guys, feel free to drop some questions in the chat window there, and I'm going to answer a bunch that I got through Instagram and also the YouTube comments. So appreciate you guys taking the time to meet with me today and kind of go through the Q&A stuff. I always love answering your guys' questions. There's always a lot of good ones, and also giving you guys like full updates on all the builds and everything going on here, because I think since the last live, even what was it, 2 months ago, there's already 2 more builds in line, and I know none of you probably want to hear that until we get the others done. But yeah, adding a lot more to the channel here in time, and then also doing a customer car that I'll get to here in just a minute. So, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to give you guys kind of call it a bombshell, I guess, but you know, something that's really exciting for me with the Cuda build. Obviously, you know, progress is happening pretty quick on it. You guys can see I actually just wrapped up the wheelhouses. I guess it would have been 2 nights ago, and then it took me a few days to edit the video to get it out to you guys. But hopefully you guys check that out and like that video. But got the trunk pan all finished up, and then also the wheelhouse is just about welded in. I am waiting for that damn trunk latch support to come in so I can set the frame rail and the rear and the trunk pan height, excuse me, and fit the quarters on, fit everything else on, and then weld it together and be done with it. So pretty excited about that. Here over the last month or so, I've been in contact and communication with QA1, and I'm really excited to announce that they sponsored the Cuda build. I tried to get some help with the charger build just because this stuff's really expensive, guys. You know, don't laugh when I say this, but you know, these builds are on a budget. Try to save money wherever I can. And unfortunately, they're all kind of getting to that same stage where you got to spend a ton of money on stuff, right? So if you go with the QA1 kit, it is, about 8 to 10,000 bucks, depending on how you spec it out. And that's just for the suspension and steering and everything else. That's not including brakes, okay, or wheels or anything like that. Apologize. I got allergies here in Utah this time of year. But yeah, so all the cars are kind of getting to that stage where they're getting really expensive. So reached out to QA1 and yeah, they offered to help with the Cuda build. So here over the last couple of weeks, I've gotten double adjustable coilovers, 4-link, tubular subframe, upper and lower control arms, all the steering stuff, everything to make this car basically roll. And currently trying to get a set of gunny wheels here also so I can start rolling these around because, we're about to start putting some weight back on the cars and get them rolling around and get them in epoxy and onto bodywork. And the Cuda is getting a whole lot more love and attention, and I know it's driving you guys pretty crazy. But with working with QA1 and AMD and others on the build, there comes some commitments and different things, and I really need to have the Cuda wrapped up, and I want it running, driving, etc. as soon as possible. Okay, the Charger, I don't have the same kind of help one, so unfortunately, the Charger is going to have to move to the back seat temporarily. I'm going to work on it. It's still going to be on the channel, but a lot of the time and attention and focus. And to be honest with you guys, it's flying. Like I said, all the are already here. And so really, with doing all the modern suspension, all the other modern steering and everything else in the car, I have the 426 Hemi here in the shop too. And really that motor still needed to be machined. It needed to be cleaned up, assembled. It was a bare block with main caps on it, but didn't have a rotating assembly, heads, any of that stuff. And if you guys have 426 Hemis, throw it in the chat. But they're crazy expensive to build. Okay. I knew that going into it, was going to kind of build it over time and figure that the Cuda would take a while to get the metal work and everything else done. But that motor probably needed $20,000 to $30,000 worth of parts and work to make it what it is. Okay. So with going modern on everything else, I needed something quick, something fast, and in my opinion, something relatively easy to drop into the Cuda and have immediate drivability, reliability, and budget friendly also, right? So I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what the car is, but it is a Gen 3 Hemi that's going to go in the car. I'm going to do some filming this weekend. Of course, we need to ops check it. I'll just tell you right now, it's a running, driving car with, it's a wreck car that I'm going to be pulling the entire drive line out of and dropping into the Cuda. It is a 6-speed. I'm really excited about that. And it comes with just about everything to make that car function and work, or that engine and transmission function and work in the Cuda. So really excited to show you guys that. Of course, we're going to ops check the rear tires, make sure those are functioning here with this next video, and possibly pop them and piss off a few neighbors in the process. We'll see what happens. But it runs sweet, it rips, and it's going to be so much fun in the Cuda. I'm really excited to show you guys. So a lot more questions have come in on the Charger and the GTO and others. And like I said, the Charger is going to kind of go on the shelf temporarily. It ain't going nowhere. I can't wheel it outside, so you guys are going to see it in the background here. But more than likely, at the same time that I epoxy the Cuda and start doing the body work on that, we'll also get the bottom of the Charger blasted, cleaned up, epoxied as well. So it will still see some progress. It's just not going to get the crazy attention and focus and video a week or 2 videos a week like the Cuda is. I mentioned that we added 2 builds to the channel, and I'll be showing you guys that here pretty soon. But doing a build for Shade Tree Autos, and there's going to be a 69 Roadrunner convertible coming to the channel. I'm going to help them do all their metal work on that car, and excited to show you guys how to do that as well. It's a pretty cool car, and what they're going to do to it's really cool as well. But the goal with that one, we're going to wrap up the metal work and get that on for them, and kind of show you guys the process for that. Just having the chance to look at it and inspect it and everything else. The convertibles, it's amazing, kind of how they're put together, especially knowing, how the B bodies and E bodies work, and seeing like the wheelhouses with the tops cut off. It's pretty cool. But that car needs quarters. It needs window channels. It needs all sorts of stuff. If you guys can hear that banging, that's actually T-Bone outside of my window banging on his four-wheeler. So I apologize for that. But yeah, it needs quite a bit of work. And, like the other builds, I'll show you guys how to do that. But that car, the plan is to get that, bring it in, get it blasted, do all the metal work. It's going to get a bunch of chassis upgrades. It's going to get the QA1 stuff on it as well. And that car will roll out of here in epoxy and move on to body work. And they're going to be doing some pretty cool stuff with that one. But you guys can check out their channel. I'll throw a link below to check out their stuff. They've got a lot of cool stuff for sale. A lot of it is very, very reasonably priced. And if you're looking for something that's, doesn't need a ton of work, or you're looking for something that's pretty rare, they've got a lot of stuff in between. So check out that channel. The GTO has not moved. Probably won't move for a while. I'm sorry, guys, but to be honest with you, the GTO videos did not get a ton of views, and there wasn't a huge following behind that. And then, to be honest, it's getting bit by that damn Mopar bug kind of changes everything. And it kind of moves further and further down the priority list. But would like to get back on that one eventually, but it's just not at the top of my priority list. And I have about the same 5 guys that bitch and moan every single time I post a video asking where the GTO is at. So maybe we'll see that come back. Maybe we won't. Maybe somebody will offer me what is he doing out there? Maybe somebody will offer me a crazy amount of money for it and just take it off my hands, and we can buy Mopar parts with it. So we'll see. All right, so hopping into the questions here. Am I going to do a Gen 3 Hemi? Yep, the Cuda is going to get one. The Charger also possibly, but I'd love to do I've got my hands on a couple 440s too that we may end up going with the Charger. Family's doing great, and kids are getting big and growing up, and everybody's doing really good here. Rich asks, what's the engine and transmission package for the Cuda? Again, I promise you guys it'll be out this weekend. You guys will see it, and I'll give you a full rundown of it. And like I said, a good ops check with it, and may or may not piss some neighbors off in the process. Okay, what'd you have to do to get AMD to send you the 68 charger panels? Been waiting for over 2 years. Jeff, it all depends, man. Honestly, COVID screwed up a lot of things. Supply chains are still pretty rattled from everything that happened with COVID. And some things are really easy to get. Some things take a long time to get. If you're looking for like 68 charger quarter panels, for example, I don't know if they're in stock right now. But I think at the time I got like the last set. There was no 68 quarters in stock, but I think I got the last set of 69 quarters. And I still get people all the time that say, you put 69 quarters on a 68. It's the exact same thing. Fill in the damn the rear side markers, drill a hole, and it's magic, right? They're 68 quarters, but that's what I had to do to get it to work. So if that's what you're waiting on, it might be something worth considering. The 69s do seem to be a little bit more readily available for you. What product do you use on the panel seams, seam sealer specifically, or seam sealer? So I like to use the 3M heavy bodied seam sealer that comes in it's the 2-part catalyzed stuff. So it's got like 2 tubes next to each other, and then it goes into the gun. So it's like a 2 cartridge setup. And there's like a nozzle tip on the end of it that kind of swirls around, and it actually mixes everything up, and it comes out like perfectly catalyzed with the right amount. Catalyzed seam sealer, in my opinion, it works fantastic. It is much more expensive than your non-catalyzed just tube of seam sealer, but I tell you what, if you've ever had to chip any of that off or remove it, it's a big pain to get it out. And it's just a little bit more peace of mind, but it's really good stuff. I'd highly recommend that. I'll throw a link in the bottom for that too. Jeff, QA1 rocks. My 68 Chargers all QA except for the rear end. Awesome. Yeah, I've never personally used their stuff. I've been a fanboy for a long time. And of course, when you're looking at doing modern suspension and Chargers and Cudas and anything else, pretty much all roads lead to QA1 stuff, and the quality is amazing. I did pop open a few boxes. I was way too excited when I first got it. I had to see what the hype was all about, and I'm so excited. I'm really excited. So that's also kind of the big push to get the bottom of the car completely wrapped up. So we're still doing the rear footwell panels are left. Of course, we've got the quarters to do, and the back half, as you can see, that's still peeled open. But the car will be getting the full chassis stiffening upgrade, and then after that, we can actually get it cleaned up, get it epoxied, and undercoated. And I will have to weld in the 4-link at that point too. But we're going to try to wrap up the bottom of the car here probably over the next couple weeks. That way I can get all the suspension on it, get weight on the car, and be able to wheel it around a little bit. All right. Rich, yes, it is. The new engine and transmission for the Cuda is a 6-speed manual, TR6060. 390 to... Okay. Momo puts on here, I love your boy, so sweet the way, our relationship. It's pretty cool. I'm a pretty damn lucky dad. Whether it's fishing, hunting, working on cars, whatever. Yeah, I've got at least one kid that loves it and is super into it. So yeah, my oldest, he's a huge fishing buff. So we've got a boat. We go out quite a bit. We actually took a trip down to Lake Powell in southern Utah here just a couple weeks ago. It's an amazing place if you've never been. But yeah, I've got buddies that love fishing, and then also T-Bone. He's the car nut. He's an absolute car nut, and yeah, like I tell people all the time, he's 7 years old and he can weld better than some adults that I know. So, and like me, he's even better with a grinder than he is a welder. So he's got that going for him too. Okay. The QA1 Cuda. Absolutely. Do you guys... Oh, okay. I see his shadow. He's actually in the window looking in here. Oh, Jesus. Okay. And then Scaglione, yep, 15,000 subs and climbing, man. I never dreamed that we'd have 1,500 or 150 people that would be interested in kind of what I do and what I've got going on here. So it's pretty awesome to see that and to see the channel keep growing. So, okay, guys, you got just a couple minutes here to get your questions in, and I'll answer whatever you guys throw into the chat box. But that about wraps up everything that I had here. So the color for the Cuda is one that keeps coming up, and man, I keep changing my mind. I went to Matt's a few weeks ago, and every color option possible for Cudas and Barracudas and everything in between was there. And originally I wanted to do Winchester gray because you just never see it. Winchester gray with black interior. But man, the limelight's growing on me. Vitamin C's growing on me. There's a lot that are pretty awesome looking. Pearl white's another one. Black is killer. Like there's not really a bad color for these, to be honest, with the exception of this pea green color that every one of my cars seems to be that same exact color. So cherish your time with the kids. It goes fast. It definitely does, man. Way too fast. So it's kind of cool to look back, and a lot of this is to document, not only the builds, but also to document history and where the kids and I are, and also kind of just moments in your life, and you get to look back on that stuff. And it's pretty cool to look back and see, the kids in the background with the John Deere tractors and stuff messing around. And it's pretty cool. So what are my thoughts on a 67 Satellite? Pea green and rust. Oh man. Black with ghost flames. Probably not flames. I'm sorry. I can get down with black, just not flames. It's not my thing. But all right, you guys got one more minute here. Get your questions in down there. One thing I do want to tell you guys, kind of no matter where the Cuda is in its progress, I am going to be bringing it to a show, and that show is going to be in Evanston, Wyoming. I believe it's July 22nd. It's the Evanston Car Show. My buddy Johnny is Johnny Pence is the one that hosts that show, and he's one of the first guys that have ever that gave me a shout out long time ago. Yeah, he's been a good friend, and he's actually got a really cool Cuda build going on too. I'll throw that down in the link below as well. But he took a lot of the parts from the Cuda, the original parts, like the front half, and yeah, a lot of the original rear axle, some of the wheels. There's a lot of stuff. He actually got the original interior out of this one because I've got a full black interior ready to go in. Um, yeah, he's got a really cool. I think it's a 70 Cuda that he got out of North Dakota. That's pretty rough. And yeah, he's going to be kind of Frankensteining that thing together, and a lot of new metal, a lot of original metal. Original Mopar metal is going to go on that car, but there's parts and pieces of this that'll help another one live on. So, but again, regardless of where this car is at, my goal by the end of July, and it's May 11th today, so we'll see how I do progress wise, but all the metal work's going to be done, suspension's going to be done, engine and transmission drivetrain is going to be completely in the car. Should be moving under its own power by then. But would love to have a great head start on the body work by the time that car show rolls around. So he's got a neat class that's going to be at that car show for the projects. And, really no matter how far this car is, I'm going to bring it and share it with you guys. A lot of people have been asking to see the builds, and this one should be rolling. Maybe, hopefully, under its own power by then. But yeah, excited to bring that car out there. So, all right. Have I seen the cars in the hill past Echo on the way to Evanston? I have. Man, you're not too far away from me here. We go fishing at Echo all the time. But yeah, I have. There's a big field with a bunch of cars on a way to a very popular fishing hole out here. But I don't know if that guy will ever sell anything though. There's a lot of cars, random cars out here just parked and sitting around. So Nardo gray, pretty cool color too. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for taking the time to listen in and also to ask your questions. And yeah, really excited to get going with the next videos here on the Cuda. Rear footwell panels. We're going to section in the rockers and get that all wrapped up. And finally, that damn latch support will be here, and can get the rest of the metalwork buttoned up. So stay tuned. I'll also get that video out with the donor car that is really going to drive people crazy, that I don't want to say cutting it up, but that I'm parting it, but I'll explain why in that video too. So, but take care, guys, and I'll see you guys again soon. We'll see you.